Hello there. I don't know if you saw me. I'm going to assemble one of these flip-up windscreens. Here's one I've made earlier. Well, this came with my Kawasaki Versys, so it was already on the bike. But my plan is to assemble another one and experiment with putting it on my BMW R1250R to see if I can get some decent wind deflection out of it. So I thought I'd film it because the instructions are absolutely atrocious. They're terrible. This picture, the items are supposedly numbered, but this picture is like 1 inch long. You can't see a thing. So I'm going to attempt to interpret the instructions and assemble the bits here on my dirty cloth. That's the plan, and I'm taking you with me. This bunch of accessories and items were in one bag, and this lot were in another bag. So step number one is getting these little rubber washers, whatever you call them, on top of these little spacers. That is what it's saying we should do. I've already done one, so that's two. So yeah, every little spacer has one of these little rubber washers on them. I appear to have a spare, which I'll be impressed if that is the case. They actually supplied spares with this kit. Fair play. Number two, take one of these, take I think one of these 4 screws here on the side. Wow, I was going to say this. I think, let me just double check here. Have I got any smaller different screws? No, there are no, well, I say screws, little bolts. There are no more bolts in this side of the pack at all. There, apart from the little grub screws, these are the only other bolts here, apart from obviously these longer ones, sorry. But yeah, I've got to push them through this hole. Basically, if you can see it, if it's focused, yeah, to basically act like that, push through the top of this. But the holes are slightly small, which is annoying. So I'm going to have to make them a bit wider. Easy life. That's going through like butter. They're not really screwing into this. There's no thread on this. It's just getting the bolt through the tight hole. That's all. I need to place these on the screen. So, sorry, I didn't make that very clear. So you got little holes in the screen and little space for the adjusting unit, whatever you want to call it. Like so, if you can see that, hopefully. I'm just seeing it on the screen. You see this kind of half moon shape. These should be facing inwards towards each other. I wonder if there's a protective film on this screen. I see, you can't see a thing, but there's just a little difference in colour at the bottom of this screen. I think I know what it is. I think, although this screen looks tinted, I don't reckon it is. I reckon there's a tinting film on it. So I'm not going to touch it. I'll probably ruin it. Oh, so moving on. Do make sure that these little spacers push through the holes in the screen. I didn't check that, so I'm just doing it now. So yeah, just pushing on the back of the little spacer there. Make sure we're all the way through. Next step involves this thing. A long bolt, something with a hole in it. I think it's this. Give me a minute, I've got to look at the instructions a bit closer. So this item, whatever it is, goes into this gap, but I'm not sure which way around yet. Let's look at the assembled screen. Well, fortunately everything's covered in tape, so I can't really tell. Let me put this screw in, from the back. Why aren't you threading? Starting to get annoying. Hold on, does it even thread from the other side? Doesn't feel too happy, I've got to be honest with you. I'm very reluctant to start this bolt on this thread. In fact, it's just not, oh, got it, it's tight. And there might even be cross threading. Wow, that is really tight, and I see shavings on my finger, so it failed to start properly. That's a really poor show. So I couldn't get it started properly, and I think I might have started on a cross thread, and that's the only way it's going to start now. Let's try the other one, see if it's any better. What? I can barely get it through the first hole. I am almost certainly creating a brand new thread doing this. This is bad, basically. And I suspect something's going to snap. I imagine the torsional rigidity of these bolts are not something to write home about. So yeah, we're kind of not in a good place, and I am running out of patience. Therefore, we're going electric. Right, so I've assembled that bit. Next, cup of tea, that's what's next. So I've done that bit. It's this bit next, which I'm just trying to figure out. I'm looking at the existing unit. Okay. It's going to be something like that to match what I've got there. Oh, let me show you. There's kind of two sides to it. I've got something now, but I'm not sure quite what I'm doing. I think I can adjust it and then pull that down supposedly to lock it into place. I see. So to assemble the other one with some semblance of confidence here, put that in there, put you in there, nope, upside down again. Okay, we're done. Next, fit the gaskets. Oh, spacer. I think goes in here. This is what these little spacers. It's what the grub screws push into when you tighten it against the screen. I think that's fairly easy. There is a little chamfer on there, so that goes up against the inner side of that clamp. So this half is assembled, and it's just assembling the other side against the screen. Seemingly that, oh right, okay, wrong side. Panic over for now. Yes, sorry if I'm not very clear here. So you got the spline there, we've got the spline face in there, we have one of these little plugs with the channel that's going to go facing outwards towards the outside of the screen there. So I'm kind of installing it upside down as I look at it now. Okay, this rubber stuff, oh I'll tell you what, can I create some cheeky spacers here to stop them falling out all the time? There you go. Cheeky spacers. There you go. Stay there. Oh, we're okay. I'm having a struggle there tightening this side. On the original screen that I've got, this bit works, and basically you put it about halfway you can make adjustments. You put it back up again, it is locked. That works quite well. This one, oh dear, well, that's in the same position and nothing is locking. Oh, this is trash. Let's try the other side. That's not at all good, is it? Either that I assembled them wrong, or they're rubbish. Sorry if you're out of focus and off the screen, but yeah, I just took it apart just to put it back together again, same way. It's not good. A stiff breeze is going to get these moving. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my complete failure of an assembly video. Hopefully these instructions will be helpful for you and you'll assemble one that isn't a part of dog poo. But this one for me is, as far as I can tell, useless. I suppose you could say that the one I had that came with the Versys, its flaws were there in those hinges, and this one, its flaws are here in the screen hinges. So they're both as bad as each other. Okay, I have a plan. You probably thought of it before I did. Combine the best of the two screens. That's nice and strong now, with the original screen with the new arm and backing hardware and mounting hardware onto the windscreen of the bike. There we are. So the previous screen, well, sorry, well, it's actually this screen, but with the broken bottom hinge, the bottom hinges were kind of sticking out there somewhere, like quite a long way out. So my plan now is to do another test ride with this screen pretty much vertical for starters. Now I've already done a test ride with this screen with when it had the broken hinges, when it's kind of sticking further out, and the best result I had was with the screen basically like that. It didn't look great and it wasn't as quiet as I'd hoped, and the wind blast was a bit rubbish as well, and I don't expect too much from this screen in this configuration, in this angle either. I suspect I'll be doing all sorts of adjustments with the bottom hinges and the top ones on my next ride to try and find a sweet spot, and there are no guarantees. And the next step is test it out.
So I went out for a test ride, and despite trying numerous positions with that screen, I wasn't able to find a good position for it that would result in low wind noise and decent wind deflection without buffeting. To be honest, once I took both the flip up screen and the BMW screen back off the bike and went for another ride later the same day, it was clear that I had both less turbulence and wind noise compared to having the screens on the bike. So I was hoping for a miracle, and unfortunately and unsurprisingly, I didn't get one. The only real solution for me personally on this particular bike, I think, is to fit one of those extremely tall screens and rather wide ones, but I'm not really willing to fit one on this bike. So it's back to a naked setup for me, and if I'm honest with myself, that's the best setup for this bike anyway. If you do choose to try one of these screens yourself, I hope you have better luck than me with both the assembly and the end results. Until the next video folks, take care of yourselves and of each other, and I'll be back soon.